Real
Yeah,
stuff.
I was
And
treading
thanks, Jerry,
lightly.
for sharing your true
Oh,
thoughts on
sure.
that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like several years back, and Mike and I have been doing this now for 8 years, which freaks Mike out, and I can see why, because it seems like a two blinks. But
All right.
several years back, we did one of our all-time top 10 countdowns, and this one was greatest matches of all time. And Mike had his list, and I had my list, and one of the matches on the list was RVD and Jerry Lynn, and Mike was kind of perplexed because Mike didn't really catch the ECW bug the way I did. I was like, oh my God. I would watch it at Madison Square Garden Network late at night. It was my own little secret, if that makes any sense. It was, they wasn't the huge giant company, but I knew something special was happening there. And then there was you two. And you guys had matches, especially in my mind, Living Dangerously of 99, that I included on my top 10 greatest matches of all time. What was it that made you two guys, Lennon and McCartney, composing in the ring? What was it?
Well, for me, um, growing up, watching wrestling, since 1969, I never wanted to watch two good guys wrestle. So when Rob and I clicked, I guess for me it was challenging. I wanted to make it fun for the fans to watch two good guys wrestle, because I always wanted to see a good guy bad guy fight. And I admired. The only time I really liked watching two good guys wrestle was like with the English catch can stuff. But as far as American, I wanted to just watch a good guy and bad guy go at it. But so I just wanted to make it fun for the fans to watch two good guys and fun for us too. I always wanted to, when I was in the ring, I always wanted to make sure I was having fun.
How proud are you of that match? Or those matches, actually?
It's funny. There's been times where I've gone back and watched them again, and I go, "Man, those could have been so much better."
Wow.
but,
Right. Yeah.
but you can only, and I realize you can only work with what you know at the time, because I've learned a lot since then.
Right.
So,
Right.
yeah, and then there's several times where, I've made several appearances on Botchamania. And I've heard the "you effed up" chant so many times, but I realized too, because I used to kick myself over and over after matches, and I'm like, that was so stupid. Why'd I do that? And I finally realized you don't get do-overs. You get one live take.
Yeah,
That's
right.
it. So learn from it and move on to the next one.
It's also the right place at the right time. And honestly, with all the advanced knowledge you've accumulated over the years, I wouldn't want you to change what you and Rob did in '99. That was perfect for that moment. It's almost like going back and changing a great album or something
Shoot.
because you've learned other
Sorry, I
things. Look at
dropped the
this. He
phone.
just botched the phone, Mike. Did you see that?
Nothing like live
Sorry, go
TV,
ahead.
Jimmy. Nothing like live TV.
Well, you're right. For at the time, it was, it worked. And what's funny is when I was in WCW, my buddy and I, he wasn't in wrestling, but at 2 o'clock in the morning on some obscure network, we would watch ECW. And I told him, I said, that is one company I will never work for,
Uh-oh.
because we're
Wow.
watching Balls and Sandman trade share shots.
Right.
And I thought, someone's going to get a blood clot or an aneurysm and drop dead here. And then that fans are handing weapons over the rail like frying pans or microwave ovens. And these guys are hitting each other over the head with this stuff. I thought, I'm never going there. But
I've screamed from the mountaintops, Mike. This is where Mike always calls me the nerd because I can be sometimes. But that was part of the magic of VCW. Yes, everything. It's always known for the chairs and the blood and all this other crap. But then there were you two guys who
well,
were
people forget too.
rewriting.
People
Who were
forget you
rewriting
had
everything.
Eddie and Dean Malenko had a great series of matches there.
Oh
You
my
had
God, yeah.
Psychosis and Mysterio. So
Hmm.
ECW always had great wrestlers there.
Yeah, they did. And,
So
and it,
I equate ECW with the three-ring circus. You had a little bit of everything.
Mm.
And you even had the Comedy Gaga with the Blue World Order.
oh
So you
yeah,
had a little bit of everything in ECW.
yeah. Roadkill, the Amish chicken plucker.
Yeah.
Come on,
Jerry, I always hear about
right?
ECW though that you
Chicken.
guys were like this family that felt like you weren't good enough and you wanted to prove everybody wrong. Was that the case, or was it really like, hey man, I gotta just make it here so I could hit the big time and make some real cash?
We always would, I don't know, semi jokingly and semi seriously would say, just like on Rudolph, you had the Island of Misfit Toys. We were the promotion of Misfit Wrestlers,
I agree.
but
It's
somehow it
true.
worked.
It did. And they were. New Jack, Raven, Sandman, Sabu. Look at those guys, Mike. He's
So
right.
then, Jerry, in your opinion, and since now you're really advanced in the industry, where did it go wrong?
Oh, well, that's easy. It wasn't a prime time family product. We were very rated R, maybe NC-17, maybe close to rated X at times. So there was no way back then, with how strict television was, that a network was going to sign us to a TV deal. I don't think. No one would want to touch that and put it on a major network. You know what I mean? At that time.
Sure.
Now things have changed. You get away with a lot more on TV, but that's how things have progressed and stuff. But I always wondered, even whenever wrestling would push the envelope, and people would go, "Oh, no, 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 we can't do that." But meanwhile, every night of the week on primetime TV, you got shows like CSI and stuff showing in grisly detail how rapes and murders are committed. But for some reason, if wrestling pushes the envelope, it's like it's a big no-no. I never understood that.
Let's turn it this way and set me straight on this. One of the debates I've always had was about Paul Heyman, right? So Paul Heyman, now we've seen how his career has turned out. He's considered the greatest mind in professional wrestling, probably next to Vincent Kennedy McMahon, right? But I've always felt that Paul Heyman came from a rich family. He didn't have a lot to lose. And I felt that if he did not have the backing he had, he would have went to obscurity. Set me straight on that.
I don't know. The problem there also with ECW was WCW and WWF started rating talent. So Paulie was forced to sign guys he wanted to keep at higher money, but the money wasn't there. So that was another, setback, and just it was just a slow start to the demise. But as far as the money backing, it came out what Vince was kind of helping fund it to keep it alive a little bit.
Yeah, right. That's it.
Yeah.
That eventually came out, right?
So, but here, what was very frustrating too is, because we were all trying to build this thing and make it something, was when TNN brought us on. Well, it turns out they just brought us on as a test to see how pro wrestling would do on their network, and without any promotion or whatever, we were their number one show. And then they turn around and offer WWF $100 million to come to their network. So that was a real kick in the ass,
Right,
It's like, right. Thanks a lot,
Wow. I want to turn it to a couple of things I want to cover, Jimmy.
Yeah.
500 level has now improved on the M&P code. Now go to MP30 for 30% off. Jimmy, I got to tell you something, right? I was at the beach again, 500 level. If you guys haven't looked at the shirts, right, go to the website. It's incredible. And I got to be honest, right? So it was a little chilly today. I brought the dogs to the beach. I was off work for the Jewish holidays,
today.
right?
It's cold.
It was cold,
Yeah.
but I have from 500 level, I have a Roman Reigns sweatshirt. Now, usually sweatshirts are not always the nicest fabric, unless I'm into really nice fabric because I just don't like things up against my skin. So usually I'll get thinner type of shirts, but this is a heavy sweatshirt. The fabric, unbelievable. And you're going to get a deal at 30% off, Jimmy. I mean, my God, it's a no-brainer, guys. I am telling you, once you get one shirt from them, you'll get 50. I guarantee it. And they've got all the sports. Yeah, dude, tell me what you think of it, Jimmy.
They're so comfortable. I got to get a long sleeve now. I'm telling you, I got to, because it was chilly today, especially for a guy who's been in Panama City Beach the last 2 years. It was chilly today, and I love the material. It's so silky. Is that the right word for it? I don't know.
No, absolutely, dude.
It's so comfortable. So yeah, I got to get myself some leveled long sleeves. That's for sure.
And
30%
again,
off,
it,
no
it
brainer.
doesn't, they got plenty of wrestling stuff. They got baseball
Yeah,
stuff. They've got football. They got everything, dude. MMA. They got it
yeah,
all, man. And I'm
yeah.
telling you, it's very high quality. Again, 500 level code MP30, 30% off. So if a
Nice.
t-shirt costs you 20
That's
bucks, what's
huge.
30% off on 20
Yeah,
bucks, dude?
it's enough. 10 plus another 20% tacked on top. Not much. It's a steal. It's a steal.
I agree. I want to remind everybody too, the Monte and the Pharaoh show, hit the QR code, be willing to check out our shows on YouTube, where we got almost 24,000 subscribers. Go to our Facebook page where we're approaching 27,000 subscribers. And again, if you feel like donating to the show, please go to the Monte and the Pharaoh webpage, hit donate. Helps us bring in more guests. Trying to entertain Jim. We've got the big event coming up, so a lot of good stuff happening right now.